Um, what got me into teaching was probably the good teachers that I had in nursing school. And I don't know if this is a common theme that you hear when you talk to nurse educators, but that is one for me. Um, I come from a heavy background of teachers, just many, many teachers in my family, aunts, uncles, you name it, they were teachers. And I remember when I was growing up, I always told my dad, I don't want to teach. I want to be a nurse. That's all I ever thought about. And then when I get to nursing school, what did I decide? Good teacher was a good model for me, and I decided to do that. But I also feel that a good teacher in nursing has to be able to walk the walk. You can't just stand up and tell someone. You've got to be able to do it too. And so I always tried to maintain my practice while I was also teaching. So up until about a year ago, year and a half maybe, I was also working in the critical care unit. And that had helped me a lot just to stay current. I guess what works best for me is to constantly evaluate myself as an educator, to not just stay in one particular mindset or one particular approach, but to be flexible and look at the students that are there, and if they don't seem to get it, then be able to be flexible enough to say, okay, let's try something different. Because I think a teacher is really someone who doesn't have all the answers, but is someone who is willing to say to their student, okay, hop on the bus with me, and we're going to take a journey. And we're both going to learn, we're both going to see things, but I'll be your guide. And so I think that's probably one of the methods that works for me. And also another thing I think as a teacher is to be an intelligent listener, because I've had teachers before who, from the minute they come in the room, they almost need a doorway twice the size because their head's so big and their ego is so great that they come in and all they want to do is impress me with what they know. And as a student, I think I need more than that. And if they're an intelligent listener, they can listen to what it is that the student needs and then guide them and help the student discover. Because when the student discovers something on their own or with assistance, that's so much more. That has a more lasting impact. And I think all of us can think back to those teachers that made a particular impact in our lives. And, we could name our teachers from the first grade on. Mrs. Cox, who showed me that it's important for a teacher to be generous. Gave me a book, got me interested in reading. Let's see, third grade teacher, Mrs. Callahan, who had confidence in me and trusted me. So a teacher has to be able to trust and show that they have confidence in a student. Trusted me to go get her coffee every morning and not spill it and bring it back to her and not drink it. I don't know, Ms. Ellis, 8th grade math, who was very stern, but you could tell that when you got it, she had corners of her mouth would turn up and a twinkle in her eye, and you knew that you really had pleased her. Also taught me how to hang clothes on a hanger in the proper order so that you could grab them quickly if the building was on fire. I didn't know that, and I got fined $0.25 when I didn't do it right. So, you can all think of those teachers that set good examples for you. They're sometimes not the ones that bring in all the bells and whistles and toys to play with in class, but they're the ones that really share themselves And that gets back to storytelling, the oldest form of teaching. And so I think a teacher has to be a good storyteller. What else?
Maybe what hasn't worked for you in the past?
What hasn't worked for me? I think has been to just, our classes are set up where we have that lecture format. And I think what hasn't worked is to just stand and read. That to me doesn't work. And I think also, sometimes in classes they'll say divide into groups and role play. And some people are really good at that. They just love to act. And I'm not. I'm never, whenever in classes they would tell me to do that, I would freeze. Not a good role player. I just have to be myself. And so I think that probably carries over in my teaching approach too. I don't like to have a lot of activities where there's a lot of role playing. But, some teachers use that and it works really well. But I don't like it. And I don't like the lecture, note-taking, all the time type format. That's about it, I think. Uh-huh.